every time I come anywhere near this fantastic charity, I feel a surge of differing emotions. First of all, pride of having anything to do with being near to this extraordinary woman, Jan Taylor, who I met about 35 years ago. I can't remember how or where or why. I'm both too old and frankly too stupid now to remember where and how we met. But I know she wrote to me, and I know that she told me the story of some of, I think it was sheep that you had rescued, which so appalled me because I've always been in love with animals. And it struck me as such a terrible thing that we seem to have been trained in this country to have different opinions about different animals. So anything that we're going to eat, we call stupid. We say hens are stupid, turkeys make silly gobbling sounds, sheep just go about in clumps, cows don't care if they've got calves or not, they don't care. Pigs are dirty and horrible. Think of the animals which we don't want to kill. Dogs, lions, stags. Look at the honor and the respect we pay to those things. These are all creatures, just as we are creatures. And it seems to me so terrible that we've been persuaded somehow not to mind what happens to farm animals. So when Jan said this will be the farm animal sanctuary, that struck such a chord in my heart. I know a little bit about farming from having lived, although I was an army brat, a child of a Gurkha, and we traveled the world. I stayed with people on farms whenever we came back on long leave to England or in holidays from my boarding school. We would stay with people on farms. So I got to know and love farms. And I know that there are the offcasts, the ones that we don't need anymore. And then that goes right down to the ones which we think have run out their natural life. They've finished their laying life. They've finished their calving life. And so they deserve to be put down because it's the end of their life. It's nothing like the end of their life. When you think of how long creatures can live when they're given the chance to live, it's absolutely extraordinary. They live on and on and on. I mean, even things that we smack our lips about eating, lobsters. We go, oh, yummy, our lobster. Lobsters live till they're 100. You know, respect, please, people. Not from you, because you are the converted. We are all speaking of one mind here. But what we've got to do is to get out, to say to people, can you help us secure one thing, which is this small farm, so that the 600 creatures which are here, and that's bound to go up. I know it's bound to go down because some of them come to the end, literally, of their natural lives. But people are always bringing in something and saying, Jan, I don't know what to do with this. We've got some here, and in they come. Don't they, Jan? Yes. Jan said yes. So what we've got to do is somehow, between us all here, we are going to raise the £500,000. Okay. It sounds like a hell of a lot. It is a hell of a lot, but look how many people we are here. Look how many words we can put out and just say, could we do £5? Could we have a coffee morning? Could we have a whip round? Could we do a small run? Could we do something? Could we, between us, collect some of that money? Could we then go to different charities and trusts we know who might be sympathetic, whose sleeves we might have tugged in the past? But in the changing world now, and we've all changed a lot in the past 10 years, we're suddenly opening our eyes to what compassion does mean, not just for animals, but for people. We've got to reconnect with our humanity. That's all it is. And so being here today is you being human. God bless you for being here. You being here means that in some strange way in your hearts, you are actually pledging to continue to speak out for animals of all kinds, but particularly for farm animals who are so abused and so discarded in life, just tossed away, not needed anymore. We've got to stop this. I'm not suggesting everybody becomes a vegetarian or vegan overnight, but I think we could cut down on our meat eating. I really do think we ought to do that for our health and for the health of the planet and for the health of our farm animals. We'll all be better off. You all feel better when you know that blood isn't around the plate that you're eating from. You'll feel better, I promise you. I've been a vegetarian for, 35, 40 years now. Still going strong. Some of my teeth are my own. You know what I mean? Jan says hers aren't. Always listen when Jan says. She sometimes says strange things, slightly undermining. Anyway, what I want to say is that somehow today, we want to go out bursting with happiness and pride at being here, excitement at what we're going to do in the future, The thrilling knowledge that I think I understand here. We've got this. This is going to be a book. I wrote it. Oh my God. Oh, look, honestly, darlings, you can bid for this and I will write in it the most lavish and loving message you could ever want. We're going to do that later, aren't we? Not today, but you put money down. Jan says, yes, we put money down. Anyway, I've talked far too much. What I want to say is that I praise this organisation as much as anything in the world because they live off the smell of an oil rag. They have nothing for themselves. Everything they do is for the animals. Every possible benefit comes to the animals. And people like Josie know exactly what this means because Josie also sometimes has to put down or deal with animals which have come to the end of their life because life has treated them so badly they cannot continue. Or just creatures who come to the end of their lives. Or just things that go wrong with animals, which go wrong with animals, go wrong with people. It's a fabulous place. This is a fabulous day. We've got an exciting task ahead of us. We've got Christmas to look forward to. Okay, it's not very long. Okay, 500,000 sounds a huge sum. Look, I don't want to put us off, is what I'm saying. I want us to go out here on fire. Always know what you can do. You can all do much, much more than you ever thought you could. I've known that. And just when you just wake up and think, I'm going to cry myself to sleep and sit in this bed and see that the world is a bloody and a dark and a hateful place, change that face, get up and go, and now I can do something about it. So God bless you all for being here, and I love you.
So to my right is Janet Taylor, who is the founder of the Farm Animal Sanctuary. She's been probably one of the biggest inspirations to me in becoming a vet and also wanting to improve the welfare of farm animals. What Jan has done, I think, over the years is massively, massively underknown. So in 1987, Jan used to keep her own sheep. She used to breed them, take them to market. And she walked into market one day in the late 1980s and basically pretty much thought she'd walked into hell. She said it was freezing cold. There were some little lambs that had been separated from their mothers, only a few days old, being sort of held up by their legs and auctioned off for about 50p each. There were ewes being sold for about £2 each. So Jan decided that this couldn't carry on and she needed to do something about it. So she bought some of the worst animals out of market, got her local vets involved, also went to what were DEFRA at the time, the Department for Farming and Rural Affairs, and got all these people involved, and was a little bit like a Jack Russell, and never let go, and just continued to campaign, make people aware of what was going on. She kept going back, buying the worst animals, getting the vets to see them, getting DEFRA to see them, getting trading standards involved, and eventually, what a lot of people don't know, actually got many of the laws changed. So it's now illegal for animals under 7 days to be in market. That was one thing that Jan pretty much changed. There's many of the laws around welfare and transport that Jan managed to get changed. She followed some of the export lorries over to the continent and managed to get a lot of the laws changed around exporting animals, live animals. So although the sanctuary is sort of here and what you see today, it's actually what Jan has done around that and the campaigning for animal welfare, which I think is just so important and something that a lot of people don't really know. Unfortunately, you can't really see the pictures behind me, but this was probably the worst welfare case that I've ever seen since I qualified in 2005. Jan had a phone call from somebody, it was sort of late on in the evening, saying that they were really worried about some sheep that were kept not that far from here. She then subsequently phoned me, and I got in touch with the RSPCA because, unfortunately, as a private vet, we have absolutely no jurisdiction whatsoever. We can't just walk in somewhere and take animals, so you have to either get the police or the RSPCA involved or DEFRA involved. DEFRA were less than helpful. I spoke to a kind of older chap on the phone who said he wasn't going to drive an hour just to help me hold some sheep. So that was really helpful. But luckily, the lady from the RSPCA was absolutely fantastic and was really, really good. So the animals that we brought out were absolutely covered in maggots, to the point where you could literally just pull their whole fleece up and you could just see maggots everywhere. They were emaciated. They had infections. There was a lamb with a huge swollen knee joint that was just really infected. And yeah, like I say, the worst welfare I think I've ever seen. So we're going to bring them all back here. There was one particular ewe who basically, as we were trying to sort of corral them out of the field and get them onto the trailer to bring back here, she came out of the gate and collapsed there was like a little wall where she collapsed. And I turned around to Jan and said, look, I'm just not sure she's going to make it. I think we might have to put her down. And I know this sounds a bit odd, but she just looked at me. She just gave me this look as if to say, take me the hell away from here and I'll be fine. And so we did. We put her on the trailer with the others, brought her back here. Our shearer was brilliant. He came straight over, sheared them all. We treated them all for maggots, managed to give them all the antibiotics, pain relief, everything that they needed, and stuck a lot of food in front of them. It's a shame you can't see the pictures particularly, but if I sort of describe it, that basically this ewe was completely emaciated. So we body condition score animals on a scale from 0 to 5, and she was at best a 1. She was basically a skeleton with a little bit of skin and wool on. And so she did. She lived, she survived, she kept eating, she kept eating, and she kept eating. And she's now probably one of the fattest sheep we have here. And bizarrely, her fleece was white when she first came, although she had black head and legs. When she grew her new fleece, she grew it a sort of dark brown colour. It was almost like she sort of grew a new skin, and was just really, really happy to be here. And she's kind of never stopped eating, really, ever since. And we called her Hope. So please, if you can, continue to help us to help them. So over the 30 years, I worked out the other day that we've rescued, we think, well over 2,000 animals. We've had at least 3 laws changed. And we continue to campaign, educate, and rescue animals that need it. Without you, we couldn't do this. We're completely run on public funds. So we need you, we need your help. Anything you can give at all is fantastic. And of course, we are now in the process of buying the farm, which means that we will be able to continue on with the work that we do. The animals that are here already, that we've promised a forever home to, will have their forever home. And we hope to continue on our work until one day, hopefully, we're just not needed anymore.
I said to Jan, are you going to speak now? And she said, I don't know. But I think we do know. Yes, Jan Taylor.
There isn't anything else I can say that hasn't been said. I'm just amazed at how many people have come today. We didn't know what to expect. And I get a bit emotional when we talk about the animals, because there is still so much to be done, as Joanna said and Josie said. This is about having respect for life, basically, for all animals, for people. The word compassion has been said, and that is what it's all about. Everyone can have compassion. If you haven't got any money, you can still have compassion. And I think by helping other people, it's going to make people feel better anyway. Do anybody think that? If you help somebody, you feel better with that? Yeah, so, we're a tiny dot in a big sea, but to every single animal that we can bring in here and give a life to, it's not going to change the world, but it'll change the world for that animal. And that's what it's all about. So thanks again. It's been absolutely lovely to see you all. And I really thank Joanna for always being here for us, a tiny little charity outside Evesham. And Joanna has never ever let us down, whatever it's been about. So with Joanna behind us, even when things get really bad, really dark, you don't know where you're going to go next, we can pick ourselves up and think, right, come on then, get on with it.
And you've never let the animals down. No, exactly.
Thank you all again. Really grateful. Lovely to see you. Go and enjoy yourselves.
All around the world, farm animals especially, are just treated horrifically. That's why places like this are just absolute heaven. Heaven for them, but heaven for us as well. Anyway, this one's called What Hell Is Like, because that's what a lot of animals find themselves in. Don't know what it was I did to end up in a place like this. I've heard that there is love somewhere up above, outside the hell this is. No one cares that I am me. I'm just a number on a sheet, just something to use until I'm no use. A commodity. I'm dying, struggling for it, here crying, and no one even cares. If you can hear me, please come and free me. I don't wanna die inside. This ain't a life. If you were I, you'd learn what hell is like.
To every single animal that we can bring in here and give a life to, it's not going to change the world, but it'll change the world for that animal. And that's what it's all about.